At my brother's wedding, his bride told me I wasn't welcome, so I took back the honeymoon tickets. At my brother's wedding, his bride told me I wasn't welcome, so I took back the honeymoon tickets and revealed exactly who had been paying for this entire fairy tale. You need to leave, Vanessa hissed, cornering me by the gift table. This is supposed to be the happiest day of my life, and your face is ruining it. I stared at her in disbelief. Excuse me? You heard me. Pack up your little +1 and get out. Nobody wants you here. What Vanessa didn't realize was that she was talking to the anonymous benefactor who had been secretly funding her dream wedding for the past year. See, my brother Jake is a struggling artist. Sweet guy, talented, but barely makes enough to cover his studio rent. When he got engaged, he was devastated because he couldn't afford the wedding Vanessa wanted. She deserves a princess wedding, he'd told me, crying into his beer. But I can't even afford a decent venue, let alone her dream dress. So I became their fairy godmother, anonymously. I created a fake wedding planning company and awarded them a contest they never entered. Free venue, free catering, free flowers, free everything. I even had my assistant pose as the company representative to maintain the illusion. Vanessa spent months bragging to everyone about how lucky they were, how the universe was rewarding her for being such a good person. She started a wedding blog called Blessed Bride, documenting their miraculous fortune. She had no idea her future sister-in-law owned a successful event planning business and was dropping $85,000 to make her dreams come true. But Vanessa had been getting increasingly hostile toward me over the months. She accused me of being jealous of her luck. She told Jake I was trying to upstage her by wearing nice clothes to family dinners. She even suggested I was hitting on her wedding photographer during their engagement shoot, standing there in her $4,000 dress that I had paid for in the venue I had booked, demanding I leave the wedding I had funded. Something inside me snapped. I pulled out my phone and called my real assistant. Hey Sarah, remember that fake wedding contest we set up for my brother? Yeah, we need to collect on the cancellation clause. Immediately, Vanessa's face went from smug to confused. What contest? I smiled sweetly. The one where you won this entire wedding. Congratulations. You're about to find out what happens when the contest sponsor revokes the prize. Within 5 minutes, my phone was buzzing with confirmations. Catering canceled, DJ packing up, florist collecting centerpieces. The venue manager appeared with a clipboard, explaining there had been a billing error. Jake grabbed my arm, panic in his eyes. What's happening? What did you do? I took back my gift, I said calmly. Vanessa wanted me gone, so I'm taking my $85,000 and leaving. You two can figure out how to pay for the rest of your party. The blood drained from Vanessa's face as she watched servers clearing the buffet. Wait, you paid for all this? Every single penny. The venue, the dress you're wearing, the flowers in your hair, even the fancy bathroom attendants you insisted on. All me. Guests started murmuring as staff continued dismantling the reception. Vanessa's Blessed Bride blog was about to become a very different kind of story. Please, Jake begged. We can work this out. Vanessa didn't mean she meant every word, I interrupted. And now she gets to explain to 150 guests why the party's over. I grabbed my purse and headed for the door. Behind me, I could hear Vanessa crying as her mother demanded to know why the cake was being wheeled away. Jake called me 47 times that weekend. I answered on the 48th call. Why, was all he said. Because she needed to learn that kindness isn't luck and disrespect has consequences. They ended up having their reception at a Denny's down the street. Vanessa's wedding blog got 12,000 comments asking what happened to her blessed day. Last week, Jake sent me a handwritten apology and asked if we could start over. Vanessa hasn't spoken to me since. Sometimes the best gifts come with the hardest lessons attached. Total cost of teaching someone gratitude, $85,000. Worth every penny.